Well, good morning. I'm Martin Tyner with Enoch Wildlife Rescue, and this is the star of the show. This is Belle, our Harris hawk, and welcome to Vlogmas. And we'll have a little fun today. We're going to talk about some of the wildlife rescue that we do, and just some general fun conversations about us and our foundation, what we're working on. And if you have questions, please don't be shy. Please. Ask your questions, because that's kind of why we're here, is to visit with you folks. And so let's go ahead and get started. DG, you want to bring up those first videos?
No, first thing we want to mention is June Francis. Remember?
June Francis, yeah. June, thank you, June, for a donation of $50 to us. That is incredibly wonderful. That helps us a great deal, and it'll be even more emphasized showing you what we spent our money on this week. So thank you so much.
And we've already got a message. ER, good morning from Texas.
Well, good morning. And I hope it's warmer there than it is here. It's right now about 29 degrees here at my house. So hope you guys are having a little bit warmer day than we are.
Okay, so you wanted to go ahead and start a short, or did you want to talk about Belle? I forgot.
Well, we can talk about Belle since we've got her right here for all of you. Belle is a Harris hawk. She's about 6 years old. She came out of a captive breeding program in Louisiana. Now, Harris hawks are normally found in southern Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and then down into Mexico and Central America as well. But this little gal came out of a breeding project, not from the wild. And so pretty young ladies in the South are referred to as Southern Belles, so we named her Belle. And so this is our little Belle. She's one of our wildlife ambassadors, and she's also one of my personal hunting birds, one of my falconry birds. And she's our best hunter of all the birds we have here. On a good year, she can catch between 80 and 100 jackrabbits. So she's an amazingly good hunter. But unfortunately, about 5 years ago, we had a disease come through, a brand new disease called rabbit hemorrhagic disease. And it just wiped out the rabbit populations throughout Utah, but especially here in southern Utah. And so there have been very few rabbits, and we've been very, very careful to give her the opportunity to only catch a very few, for the simple fact that we don't want to deplete an already stressed population. And so, she gets to go fly against pigeons. She'd much rather go hunt jackrabbits, but we don't have a lot of them available to us. And the Harris hawk's a great example of a hawk. As you can see, let me get a little closer here for you. If you look at those beautiful, beautiful brown eyes that she has, hawks can have brown eyes, blue eyes, gray eyes, yellow eyes, orange eyes, red eyes, depending on the species. But falcons all have black eyes. And so if you see a bird of prey with black eyes, it's most likely a falcon. Falcons have pointed wings, where the hawks have the rounded wings. My hawk has a much, much longer tail than a falcon. That's what she steers with. She has much longer legs than a falcon, so she can reach through bushes and trees and those kinds of things to catch. And she has much thicker, more powerful feet than a falcon. So they're built quite different, and they fly quite a bit different. And so we have basically two very different kinds of falconry. We have what they call dirt hawking, or game hawking with a hawk, and that's more rough and tumble, going through the brush. And then we have the long wing, which is more artistic. And so why don't we go ahead and start the videos, and we'll talk about those. Young Harris hawks, the breeding project in Louisiana.
Nice. I think you missed that. They're like being forgotten about.
Can you see her?
Yeah, I can barely see her.
Thank you. Okay, I just need to check the copies.
You want a phone line or anything? Or?
All right, I'll let her know.
She's just sitting there quiet.
Nicely zip tied the doors shut so that nobody can peek. That's the only safe way.
Right. We had a falcon the other day that came in. We did the same thing. We had to close all the things so that he wouldn't freak out from the light.
Yeah, yeah. A lot better off if it just stays dark and quiet.
Right, they're more calm.
What do you need from me?
I just need your signature and printing out the paper.
Oh, okay. Don't need ID or anything?
Yeah, I will need your ID.
Okay.
Hey, sweetie.
Thought you might. Driver's license sufficient?
So dark in there, I can't see.
I'll go grab your papers.
Oh, I see it.
I'll be right back.
Harris
It's a
Hawk.
decent sized bird.
Yes, yeah, she'll be our newest wildlife ambassador for our Wildlife Rescue Center down in Cedar City.
Nice. Did she get injured or?
Oh, you're
No,
fine.
no, this is a young one from a captive breeding project in Louisiana.
Okay.
I wondered if that was you, because I saw the car out there earlier. I wondered if that was you waiting for the birds.
Yeah, he does wildlife rescue, but for education, he uses falconry birds, his own. So this is a new one of those. You're welcome to have one if you want.
That has our website and all of our contact
Oh, you're
information.
fine. It's not your fault.
Is that you?
Have a good night.
There he is.
That's my book.
Okay. Go ahead and just sign right there. And,
Right here?
uh-huh. And the
cool,
bottom
though.
copy is yours and you're all good to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Don't let that moron give you a bad
Oh, it's fine.
I know. That was very uncalled for. Wait, hold on.
I was raised to say sir.
Absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Me
So-
too.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
I was saying yesterday.
Well, here's our little girl. Now we have a 4-hour drive back to Cedar City. So we'll see how this goes tonight. But the temperatures are just perfect, so it's not too warm for her, and the cargo people here at Delta were very, very helpful in helping to get her to us as quickly as they could. Here you go, little one. Okay. There we are. Okay. There's my pretty girl. Oh, there's my pretty girl. Hi. Hey, pretty girl.
Everything's so scary. Wow, look at this long tail.
Yeah. I need to hold her for the very first time.
I'll move this table away.
Go ahead, let her go.
That's all right.
That's I know. And what we have here, she is a completely wild Harris hawk out of a captive breeding. Oh, yes, you're so pretty. You are. You are so pretty. And so, this is her first time being handled. And so we're going to see if we can get her to stand on my glove for just a minute. Oh, there's my girl.
Well, there's some memories. for
Okay,
you.
well, that's really, really fond memories. That was Belle when she first came here to Utah. It was a bit of a challenge getting her here. Interstate transport of federally protected species, you have to cross a lot of T's and dot a lot of I's and make sure that everybody is on board. The fish and games in both states, the health department in both states, the Department of Agriculture in both states, make sure that you have all the right paperwork and permits to get them shipped in. And then on top of that, it has to be the right temperature. And so if the temperature is above 90 degrees, the airlines won't take them. And so we were kind of waiting for her. We would have gotten her about 2 weeks earlier, except for it was too hot in Louisiana to ship her out. And then when it was cool enough in Louisiana, because the storm came through, it was almost too hot in Utah. But we were able to get her squeaked in right between a couple of cold fronts to get Belle here, and It's about 350 miles to the Salt Lake International Airport where she was flown to. And so we got her picked up and then headed straight home. And then we put on her little leather anklets. We put on her leather straps called Jessie's. And that's her hood that she's quite used to. And then we start the process of called manning, which is a process to gentle them down and let them know I'm a really nice guy and here's free food. And we are able to develop a relationship with these animals, not like the wild ones that I rescue. The wild ones that I rescue, we don't do that. The wild ones that I rescue get as little human contact as possible. But my wildlife ambassadors who are going to do school programs and scout programs and community event programs and to go out hunting with me, they need a lot of acclimation and socialization. And as you see, she baited just a little bit and I got her on the glove. And then we sat down in the chair and she just sat there quietly looking around the house, trying to wonder, what this new place is. And we sat right here in this chair right next to me. And I think we got home at about 3:00 in the morning. And I couldn't sleep, so I basically stayed up the rest of the night with her and admired how pretty she was. And if you notice, she looks a whole lot different when we first brought her in. Those were her baby colors. Because she was a young Harris hawk, and she was kind of speckled brown or black and brown, reddish brown speckling, and her tail was banded instead of a black tail with a white tip. And so, the young Harris hawks, like most birds of prey, have their baby colors feathers and their adult colored feathers. And so Belle is certainly a full adult now, and she's turned out to be a gorgeous animal and a dear friend.
So we have a question. How old was she when you received her?
When we received her, let me think. She was about, I think she was 45, 50 days old. So basically she was full grown, raised with her parents at the captive breeding location. And then she spent a few weeks flying in a big flight chamber with other Harris hawks, so that she was never imprinted on humans. So she's very much a wild Harris hawk, but she has been acclimated into falconry with me and also as an education bird. So she's very much a wild animal, but she accepts me as her hunting companion. So yeah, about 50 days, somewhere around there.
Monty S. asks, hello from Michigan. Martin, can you tell us anything about the social chirps of the Harris hawk? I hear they are vocal.
Harris hawks can be very, very vocal, and this is one of the reasons we don't like to take a Harris hawk away from its mom and dad and raise it with humans, because Harris hawks can be quite vocal when they've been raised by humans. And so it's always best if they're raised by their parents, and then once they're full grown and flying around, then we take them up and then acclimate them. Now, the Harris hawks can scream. They have the most blood-curdling scream that you've ever heard. It's actually terrifying to hear one scream. They can be quite aggressive when they're imprinted on humans as well, which can make them dangerous. But when they're raised properly, they're extremely sweet and extremely intelligent. And the sound that you hear her make, I don't know if you can hear that or not, that little vocalization, that's her little talk. And so she does vocalize, but it's a very quiet little growl. And that's basically her little way of coaxing me, saying, come on, Dad, let's quit sitting around here. Let's go out and chase rabbits. And so she really, really loves to go and fly free and hunt like a wild Harris hawk. And, she's my hunter and I'm her dog. And I'm a really good dog, so I keep her. And so they do vocalize it around the nesting site. Like I said, it's a lot of birds of prey vocalize a lot, especially when they're young. But the Harris hawk has a scream that can wake the neighbors. So it's nice to have a quiet one.
ER asks, will you breed her?
Will I breed her? Probably not. I had a breeding project many, many years ago, and I had a male and a female Harris hawk. The bird was initially owned by a BLM biologist here in Utah, and he had absolutely no success with them. The pair was like 9 years old, and he was never able to get them to breed. And so he asked if I was interested. So I basically took the pair, brought them here to my home, set up a breeding chamber. And in the first year, we actually had success. I think the first year we had like 5 babies hatch out, which was out of that one pair, which was wonderful. And so they were really good, and they were very productive, and everything was going quite well until I had to ship them out. And the problem with shipping them out, because they have to go to qualified licensed individuals. You know, I can't just sell them to people, neighbors and stuff around southern Utah. You can't do that. It's illegal. And so they have to go to licensed individuals. And so you ship them out of state primarily to licensed falconers all over the country. And in the process of doing so, my closest airport is 200 miles to the south, and it's Las Vegas, McCarran International. And the babies are ready to be shipped out by the end of July. Now, as I said earlier, if the temperature is above 90 degrees, the airlines won't take them. And so you can drive down to Vegas at 2 o'clock in the morning, and if it's 90 degrees, you're just going to drive back home with the bird because you can't get it on the plane. And so it became extremely difficult to get them shipped out. And so sometimes I had to drive the 350 miles to Salt Lake to get them on an airplane to get them shipped out around the country. And so I had my breeding project for about 4 years, and I really loved raising the baby Harris hawks. It was so difficult to get them placed. I ended up transferring my breeding pair to a breeding project up in the Salt Lake City area, where they could just go to the Salt Lake International and ship them out much easier. And so I gave my pair away. And I'd have the same situation now if I were to get a male and breed her. I would have the problem of trying to place them and getting them shipped out. It's just far too complicated and difficult. So she and I are just going to be hunting buddies. My last Harris hawk, we were together for 29 years before he passed away. And so, 30 years, if handled correctly, is not uncommon for these birds. And so she and I are just going to be friends for the rest of our lives.
Chris Falcon asks, where are Harris hawk located in the U.S.?
Harris hawks are found in southern Arizona, and they're found in New Mexico. They're found southern New Mexico, southern Texas, and then they go down into Mexico. And there are a little bit smaller versions of these Harris hawks down in Central America as well. And so they're very, very much a southern bird, and that brings up an issue. Like I said, here in southern Utah, the wintertime, temperatures, far below freezing is quite common. We do get a couple of days, 5, 10, 15 below zero, and these birds can't take that kind of cold. And so you have to have a facility where they can come in the house and be heated. And so Belle, especially in the wintertime, I have an unfinished room in my basement that I have purchased down there. And so she comes in, if the weather is above freezing, during the daytime she can be outside, and that's fine. But once it drops below freezing, we bring her in the house.
Mindcrafty says, I love the cute tail waggle she does.
And that's really a Harris hawk behavior, and that is the way she greets me every morning. I walk down to the room every morning to pick her up when the weather's decent to put her out. And the very first thing she does is she has that little growly vocalization, and she just wags her tail like mad, saying "Hi, Dad." And so that's just kind of her content and happy attitude that she shows me, which is really fun.
ERS, do they get broody when mating season comes around?
Do they get broody when mating season comes around? They can, and she's they're sexually matured about between 3 and 4 years, and so she's about 6 years old now. Now she's shown no signs of a desire to breed yet. In fact, my last female Harris hawk that I had for a couple of decades, she had no interest in showing any signs of breeding whatsoever until her last year. And her last year, she laid an egg, and so it was a real shock because she had never shown interest before. But she didn't have a male with her; she just laid an unfertilized egg. So, that's something we kind of watch for.
Ready to see another favorite Belle clip?
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, there's the dog.
She doesn't like Cody, but that's okay.
Hey. And we actually, I do this on purpose. This is really important. I want her around the dog, and I throw the frisbee, which is kind of a weird thing that, they get a little bit nervous about, but that's good. We want her to over here, Cody, put her over here. Yeah, that's about right. Huh. You don't like Cody, do ya? That's okay. You don't have to like him. He's kind of ugly. Cody, put it over here.
Okay, and that shows the violent scream that they do. Yes, Belle does not like dogs, and most Harris hawks don't. I've had a few Harris hawks that would tolerate dogs, but most of them don't. And Cody is so silly and goofy and that kind of stuff, and he doesn't realize that the bird doesn't like him. He's not smart enough to figure that out. So he'll come running right up, but at least Cody is to the point where he knows that as soon as he gets within range, he needs to stop and assess the situation instead of run over the top of the bird. But Harris hawks don't like dogs, and like I said, they have that violent growl, and they not only do that to dogs, but they do that to people they don't like as well. Yes, Belle.
So we have one more of the snippets that I always think of when people ask you about Belle's bells.
Yes.
You ready?
Ready.
Hey, Belle. Come on out. Come on, sweetie. Come on, babe. Come on out. Hey, you. Come here. That's my girl. Okay.
Now, Harris hawks are quite determined hunters, and I've had many times Harris hawks go down the rabbit hole after the rabbit. And I've even had the occasions where they've caught the rabbit in the rabbit hole and they can't get out. And so then I have to go back to the car and get a shovel and very gently work around so I can dig them out of the hole. Now, I have a radio telemetry system that broadcasts a signal that picks up on a receiver, and I can track them. And so if they are out of sight, and then I can kind of track them down to wherever they've gone. Except that GPS system doesn't work if they're down in a hole, or if they're in a gully, or a low impression, or that kind of stuff, because it's strictly line of sight. And so if they're down in a depression, then you get no signal from the GPS whatsoever. And so when she chases a rabbit, that's why she has her bell on right here. I bet she has that bell, because she'll chase a rabbit. She might chase a rabbit 200-300 yards or so, and in the process of chasing the rabbit, the sagebrush is your shoulder height, head height, and if they go down a rabbit hole, the GPS doesn't work. And so we'll, head in the direction the bird went, and then we listen for the bell to ring. And as you can see, it was very faint, but I could hear the bell ringing in the hole, and that helped me to locate her. And so that's not an uncommon behavior for Harris hawks. They're pretty determined to catch their rabbits.
So we've got a few more questions queued up and waiting, but I think before either of us get in any trouble, maybe we need to talk about the open house.
Sure. The 14th of December, I think that's this Saturday, we are going to have an open house at the Enoch Wildlife Rescue, and everybody's invited to come and show up. We'll have people that can give you a tour of the area, and you can come and get to meet the wildlife ambassadors. We will have Belle the Harris hawk, Piper the prairie falcon, Whisper the screech owl, and Bud the golden eagle will all be there. Plus, we do have a couple of one golden eagle, one bald eagle in rescue right now that you can look through our observation window and see them in the flight chambers. And the whole place, the girls have been going crazy with, this is, again, it's an open house and a fundraiser. They have just lined the whole reception area with lots and lots of artwork and lots of goodies, and we're going to have I guess we're going to have pastries and just all sorts of stuff there at the open house. And so please, everybody, if you'd like to come, it's from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the afternoon is the open house, and come and see our Enoch Wildlife Rescue Facility and the work that we do. And a special little tiny thing that nobody knows about that you guys will know, and that is that the open house starts at 10, and I'm going to come up with my wildlife ambassadors, and about 10:30 or so, I'm going to take Piper, weather permitting, as long as the weather's good. I'm going to take Piper, and we're going to drive out to our flying field where I exercise my falcon, and let Piper put on a show. And Piper will go up 200 to 500 feet in the sky, and he will dive vertically at close to 200 miles an hour and try to blow up pigeons. And so if you want to see a prairie falcon really put on a good show, you can show up at Enoch Wildlife Rescue at 10 o'clock, and like I said, about 10:30 we'll start heading out, weather permitting. If it's windy or snowy or cold or too cold, then we can't. But weather permitting, we'll go out and do an exhibition flight.
And we've got a link for more information and a flyer about the open house down in the description. And also, of course, go to our site. It's on the events calendar. And also, Susan put together some video snippets to show what's going on. So can we roll that?
Yeah, go for it.
Here's some beautiful art we've got available. This is our front door, front window area, the reception area. Some of these things still need to be hung up and put out. We've got a few days more to go to finish organizing. Lots of beautiful pictures. Handmade scarves. Cute little Christmas cards. All of these gorgeous pictures. Handmade quilts. If you've got anybody, these would make great little baby gifts. They're absolutely adorable little owls. Looks like there's one called Olivia and one named Oliver, Owliver, and an Owlivia. All kinds of cute things for kids too. Cute little owl puzzle. It's all put together. Got little finger puppets. We've got the bench here, which makes it handier for kids to step out and look at the eagles. See the eagles here. I'll zoom in. They're across the way because they know we're here, so they stay further away. Golden eagles up in the top right perch, and the bald eagles on those poles down in the lower left. Zoom back out, and got all kinds of beautiful things here. Lots of different types of art, and all kinds of fun stuff here, from really awesome, unique photographs, paintings, and even some cute puzzles that have been framed and donated. Sorry about the glare. This room's still being set up. We're gonna have a lot of raffle stuff in here going on. Another beautiful wall hanging quilt. These are all gonna be raffle items. And there's gonna be a lot more set on the table, but we've rearranged to hang some pictures. We've got these adorable little puppets, little finger puppets. These will go on your finger, and then we've got some bigger puppets. Well, you'll get to see. And then we're gonna have a table for things under $10. Here's some more of the bowls for the raffle. We're not finished yet. That table is gonna be where Martin will have his falconry and wildlife ambassadors, so that they'll be in those cages, and we'll have a little fence across with him here on the corner. And of course we have the Whisper here. I need to get him his food. Hi baby, sorry I'm intruding. Time to bring in your mouse. He's a good little kid.
As I said, the girls have gone all out, volunteers decorating for Christmas. As you can probably see here at my house, there's not any Christmas decorations up here in my living room, because all of our Christmas decorations went to the rescue center for our open house. And so, and that's just fine. That's just fine. They're having a great time. So come and join us. Come see some critters, and we have lots of goodies that you can buy for Christmas presents for folks.
Okay, Emily B says, I wish you were in my little town of Miles City, Montana on the 4th of July this year. You would have seen the fishing game rescue 2 bald eagles who had gotten stuck in the middle of our oasis pond. Yeah,
we have rescued a lot of eagles. The problem that the bald eagles have is people think that eagles can swoop down and carry off sheep, cows, and children, and they can't. A bald eagle can only carry about 2.5, maybe 3 pounds at the most, and so if they swoop down, they grab a large fish. You get a 2-pound, 2.5, 3-pound trout. That's a very big fish, and they can't get it. They can't lift it up. They can't carry it, but they don't want to let it go because they're hungry. And they'll hang on to that fish and try to paddle to shore, and then exhaust themselves to the point that they end up in a lot of trouble and they need to be rescued. And so I've had several bald eagles come in that have been near drowned because of that. People think that eagles, when they grip down, they can't release, and that's not true. They can release, but they don't want to. They're desperate to eat. and so they don't want to lose their breakfast, and sometimes it's to their detriment.
Rob in the UK says, nice looking guitar. Is it a Martin for Martin?
It is a Martin, but it's a Martin's Martin. This guitar, let me be really honest with you guys. I am the world's worst musician. I have no talent whatsoever. I've been playing with the guitar. I can't say playing the guitar. I've been playing with the guitar ever since I was a child, and I love music and I love the guitar. But I will never play in front of anybody because I'm really, really bad. During the COVID quarantine, when I couldn't go out and do my educational programs, I was kind of stuck at home, rescuing critters, but I couldn't go out and do my education programs. So I wanted to do a project. Now, as bad as I am as a musician is concerned, I'm a pretty good craftsman. And I've been building radio control model aircraft ever since I was a child, and so I can build stuff. And so this guitar right here behind me, this is one I built myself. And the guitar is taken from a set of plans for a Martin triple-aught guitar, and so it is a replica of a Martin, built by Martin, myself, and it's you guys have it. It's got a real neat story behind it. Are you guys interested in my story? I can bring the guitar and show it to you.
Am I supposed to answer for everybody? You want to tell it. You want to.
I do. Let me put Belle away for just a minute, and I'll show everybody my guitar. Sweetie. Hold on. Okay. Okay. This is my guitar. Basically, there was a gentleman up in the Salt Lake area that custom builds guitars, and if you buy all the materials from him, he'll allow you to use the specialty tools that I could not afford to buy for just building a guitar. And so I went up to Salt Lake and I basically purchased, he has enough wooden supplies for like 400 or 500 guitars. And so I went through his collection and picked out the materials. And so this is very, very traditional as a Martin guitar. The back is the back is Indian rosewood side and back, and so we went with that. The neck is mahogany, fingerboard is ebony, and in the process of building this, I was able to go through and pick my own woods, and the soundboard is Sitka spruce that's been aged for more than 25 years. And so I was able to pick my materials and actually voice the guitar, which basically you have the wood and you tap on the wood and you listen for the tones in the wood. And I was able to voice this guitar and did some very special little things like the ebony fingerboard here. Has little itty bitty tiny wormholes in it, and when I picked this piece of ebony, the guy says, "Oh no, you don't want that one. That one's got little wormholes in it." And I says, "No, that's perfect. That's what I want," because this came from a living tree with living creatures in it, and that kind of reflects kind of who I am with the wildlife and the wildlife rescue, and the rosette around the soundboard is a piece of again Indian rosewood that had a lot of sap on it, and it dyed the wood a light colored, so I've got dark and light on top and bottom. The nut here and the bridge, you can see it's a little weird colored. This, you know, the really good guitars, they make them out of bone. The cheap ones, they make them out of plastic. This one I made out of a deer antler, and it was the first deer that I harvested when I was a teenager. And I made both the bridge and the nut out of antler. Again, kind of representing who I am and what I do, kind of a thing. And then in the process of building the guitar, like I said, I'm really bad with music. I'm terrible. I'm hoping that someday I'll have a grandson or a granddaughter or a great-grandson, great-granddaughter, great, I don't care how far generations ago, that's talented. That would be nice. They can play music and would love to have a very nicely made guitar. And so when I got ready to assemble the guitar and put the soundboard onto the body of the guitar, I wrote a note on the inside of the soundboard. And the only way you can see that note is to stick a mirror in there to see the writings on the inside. And you have to decipher it because the writings will be backwards because of the mirror. But my grandfather, when I was a young child, used to wake me up every morning before he went to work. He would say the same thing to me every morning before he left to work. He would say, "Martin, do good today, do good." And so I wrote a note on the inside of my guitar that basically says, this is my voice. The music from this guitar is my voice. Susan, my sweet love. Susan is my love, my sweet wife. Family is my life. Do good today, do good. And so that's the message I wrote on the inside of this guitar that will hopefully be passed down for generations. And hopefully as much as I love to play it, I'm bad, but someday hopefully somebody will play this guitar that's good and can get everything out of this guitar that I put into it. So that's my little guitar story that I did.
You know, Martin, that gives me an idea for 2 fundraisers maybe. Maybe the first one, we can see if we can raise maybe like $20 that you'll actually play for us. And then while you're playing, we could do another fundraiser for maybe $5,000 that you'll stop.
Well, nobody paid $20 to hear me play, but yeah, they would give me $5,000 to stop. I'm sure of that. That goes without saying. And so, but yeah, that's, like I said, that's just a little special thing that I did during the COVID quarantine. I've got 2 other guitars as well, but they're factory made ones. They're not made by me personally.
I guess, well, we're talking about your writing.
Yes. She's put it up here. This is our book, Healer of Angel. If you like animal stories, this is 40 years of wildlife rescue stories and the wisdom of grandparents. As you can see on the front cover, this is Scout, my golden eagle. And Scout autographs the book. If you buy it directly through us, you'll get an autographed copy, and that is Scout's footprint right there. So it's the only book autographed by a golden eagle, and my wife and I have both signed it. But yeah, this is, like I said, 40 years of wildlife rescue stories and the wisdom of grandparents. And so it's a very fun read to sit down and read as a family. And it makes it, again, a great Christmas gift to all the animal lovers in your life.
So you remember you recorded a video for us of the food situation at the rescue center right now. So why don't we roll that and you can get Belle out again? I have a little break time for you. Okay, so let's get this one going here.
Okay, everyone. Merry Christmas. This is the greatest present I could have. Look at that. That freezer is completely full of rats, mice, and quail. And it's all, again, thanks to you guys for your generosity in providing gift certificates to Rodent Pro, where we buy our food from. This freezer is half full, again with rats, mice, and quail. And this is the first time we've put food in this freezer, so this is a brand new freezer that hasn't been used yet, so we've got it plugged in and going. And then out at my car, I've got 4 more boxes in the car that will go out to my house right there, so we can fill the freezers out of the house. And this will be the food for our wildlife ambassadors, for Scout and Helen and Belle and Piper. Well, this will be their food. You know, it amazes me how generous all of you are to our foundation. Like that particular order, we just got it in, I think yesterday, and it was over $2,000 in food for the animals. And without all of you helping us, we could never afford to do what we do and to care for these animals. There's a great sense of comfort knowing that I have multiple freezers full of food for the animals. If we go through a lot of food very, very quickly, and the food is extremely expensive. And so anytime I can go out to the rescue center or here, look at the freezers here at my home, and the freezers are full, it's a great deal of comfort knowing that I'm going to be able to keep everybody fed for at least another month or two. And so thank you so very, very much, all of you, for getting the Rodent Pro gift certificates for us, and also for making donations to our foundation. Your gifts mean so much to us, and it helps us care for the animals. So thank you.
Snowy's Photography says, wow, those birds will be eating well for Christmas.
They will be eating well for Christmas. And like I said, and it's all because of all of you guys and your kindness. So thank you.
Jane says, Belle is just beautiful.
She really is a pretty little girl, and she's very, very sweet. And like I said, we have a tremendous friendship, her and I. And that's one thing that keeps me going, is the wildlife rescue animals we don't do this with. We can't. We cannot socialize them. We don't want them acclimated to humans. We want to keep everything very, very much wild as possible, so they stay as far away from people as possible. And so to have these wildlife ambassadors that, like I said, are my friends and that do spend time with me and fly free and go hunting with me and that kind of stuff, that helps me deal with the hardships of the wildlife rescue.
So we're already 40 minutes into this live stream. Shall we go ahead and run through the shorts that we have of our top 25 viewed videos? Top 24?
Sure.
Okay. Here's number 20, baby kestrels.
These are baby kestrel falcons. These are the smallest falcons found in North America. They've been with us for a month and a half. They're all doing well. They're full grown, they're flying, they're feeding really well, and it's now time to give them the opportunity to go to the wild. Okay. Got our little female right here. Okay, there you go. Prettiest bird on the planet. There we go. There's the other one. That was still up in the air. Kestrels are beautiful little birds. They're the most common falcon in North America and our smallest one. They eat a lot of grasshoppers, they eat a lot of field mice, and occasionally they'll eat small birds like sparrows. and so they're very, very beneficial to have around. We get a dozen, 2 dozen in every year to our rescue center because of the places they nest. They'll nest in holes in the eaves of buildings, and they'll nest in old woodpecker holes in trees. And so oftentimes they're relatively close to civilization. In fact, even more than relatively. When I was a teenager, my family went to Disneyland, and I found a kestrel falcon's nest right in the middle of Disneyland. So they do acclimate themselves well to people, and like I said, great insect and rodent control to have. So we love those little guys.
So we got a couple messages from our buddy M127. First, hello, Belle. And then, bit late joining, but how's the hunting season going for Belle this year? Ignore if you have already answered this.
Well, I'll answer it anyway. Terrible. Our rabbit population is still very, very poor. And so Belle has caught a few rabbits, but only a few, and not nearly the 80 to 100 rabbits that she can catch on a good year. And so, she gets to go out, she gets to have her fun, gets to go play. She also gets to go chase pigeons as well as the rabbits. So she gets her fun time, but the rabbits are just not available yet.
Minecrafty asked, how is the white-bellied bald eagle brother doing?
The white-bellied bald eagle brother is at the rescue center, and it's eating well, and it's looking good, other than its feathers are a complete disaster. And so we'll hang on to him. We'll take him through the molt, see if the feathers will grow back through the molt. But if not, then to be honest with you, the prognosis for him isn't very good. And so we're giving him every possible chance, probably far more than what any other rehabber would do, because I would really love to see that eagle go back to the wild, but he has some genetic issues. That's why he's in the wild. He would have been dead a long, long time ago. But we'll see how it works, and even if he grows his feathers back well enough that he can be used as an educational animal, that would be fine. But only time will tell.
Okay, our number 19 most viewed is another kestrel falcon video.
Go. Gates open, one's out.
There's the third one.
Yeah, the farmers here love it when it's the end of July and the kestrel falcons are ready to be released back to the wild. They love that. I kind of spread them around throughout the agricultural areas around here because, like I said, they eat a lot of grasshoppers. They eat field mice, and they do eat some small birds as well. And so they're so beneficial to have them here. And my goodness sakes, I have no idea how many hundreds of kestrels I've returned to the wild over the last 58 years. But it's wonderful to see them fly away.
18.
Hi, pretty one. Yeah, look at that pretty tail. Nice cinnamon color in its tail.
So what happened to him?
Well, it actually had some foot problems. It was some infections from being bit by squirrels. just going to circle over my head, kiddo. Isn't he beautiful? Just putting out a beautiful show for us. Let's see. Yeah, he's loving that air. Yeah, and like I said, lots of different kinds of injuries can be something as natural. These red-tailed hawks eat a lot of gophers, they eat a lot of squirrels, they eat a lot of chipmunks, and they bite. And a large ground squirrel can bite hard enough to do some real damage to the feet of these birds of prey. And so, we had that one come in that wasn't able to feed itself. It had infection and swelling in its feet. And so we were able to basically get in there and clean out the wounds and get it on some antibiotics and get the swelling to go down and get those feet so they were finally working again and release it back to the wild. When I get an injury that is of a natural cause, that's wonderful. That's sure a lot better than being hit by cars or electrocutions or barbed wire fences or those kinds of things that I have to deal with. The wild's a rough place to make a living.
So number 17 on the list is one with the little guys that Susan's caring for.
Yeah, we take care of everything from brand new hatched hummingbirds up to eagles, and we do small mammals as well. And this is where my volunteers start. My volunteers start by learning how to hand feed, baby robins and shrikes and blackbirds and flycatchers and grosbeaks and those kinds of things. And then once they have kind of gotten those skills down, then we try to move them into the larger. The larger ones are a completely different game, but it takes a great deal of experience to be able to handle one of these without getting hurt. So Susan's been my love and my partner for 46 years. We've worked together to care for these critters, and without her, none of this would have been possible. So we're so grateful for Susan and all that she does for the critters.
Number 16 is a very shortened version of a hawk saved becomes a last act of kindness.
A gentleman brought us a ferruginous hawk, and that's the great part of the story. The sad part of the story is that a week after he brought us the ferruginous hawk, he was in a horrible, horrible car accident and he died.
Because we
Do
didn't
you let
know
him go after you take care of him?
Absolutely. I just released an eagle this morning.
Oh, dang it, we missed it.
I know, you're flying just beautiful now, aren't you, sweetheart? Here we go. Up.
Have you? No, got one foot. Gotta get that other one. There we go. Got the other one.
Depends on the bird how they want to heal up, I guess.
Just like us.
Yeah. If he wants to fight or die, it's all it is. It boils down to if they want to live or die.
Yes, that's true.
Just like us.
Yeah, that was actually a very sad, emotional story for us. the elderly gentleman there, this was over by between Milford and Minersville, about 50 miles from here, and found this hawk who was hit by a car, and had a concussion, but nothing was broken, which is a good thing. And he brought it to us, and so we took it in, and unbeknownst to us, that really within just a couple, 3 days, he would be killed in a car accident. And so when the hawk was fully recovered, we invited his family to come up and release the hawk in honor of their father. And so it was a neat opportunity to give back to somebody who gave that ferocious hawk a second chance in life. And so, just once in a while there's a story that really touches our hearts, and that's one of them.
Okay, number 15 is part of another story that made a big impact. This is actually on the list twice in 2 different videos, and that's a bald eagle update.
A casting is what is undigested. You can see right here what we're feeding him is whole mice. And he'll eat the whole thing, and then whatever he doesn't digest, the fur and bones and that kind of stuff. It's okay, sweetie. The furs and bones and that kind of stuff, he'll regurgitate into a pellet that comes out. People are more familiar with owl pellets, but all birds of prey cast pellets. Yeah, stay right there, sweetie. Let me show you a little bit here. Here's a pellet right here. And this is basically fur and bone and whatever else is not digestible. And they regurgitate that about 24 hours after they've eaten. And I gave him an evening meal last night, and so he may not have brought it back up yet, so he doesn't want to eat and put food on top of his casting so he can cast a little easier.
And that particular eagle, again, hit by a car, severe concussions, was feeling really bad. He fully recovered. We got him released. Anytime, and let me make this very, very clear, anytime that you can walk up to a wild animal and they don't either run away or they don't attack, because wild animals have a very strong fight or flight instinct. And so to look at this guy that is just sitting there with me basically, touching his beak and that kind of stuff, and not either trying to hurt me or not trying to escape, that's one extremely sick eagle. Fortunately, like I said, we got him healed up, got him released back to the wild. But anytime you find a wild animal, that lets you walk right up to it, please don't. Please notify the local fish and game, your local wildlife rescue center. You can call police dispatch. Don't call 911. They'll get mad at that. 911's for human emergencies, not animal. But notify someone that can come and assess the situation and handle the animal safely, because an injured animal can be incredibly dangerous. If they start to come around while you're thinking that the animal is being tamed, and they start to come around, you're going to end up in the hospital. So please don't pick up wild animals if they seem like they're tame. Call and have someone come that can handle it properly.
And number 14 is Piper.
What you see here on my chest cuddly with me is the newest member of our family. This is our newest little prairie falcon. And, this is really, really unusual. So why my little friend here has just been cuddling up with me, it's amazing. This little falcon is brand new to us.
Yeah, that's little Piper, and actually Piper's sitting here in the living room with us across the room, and he really is a unique prairie falcon. We love this little guy to death. He is from the wild. He is one that I trapped last summer, and when you see him laying right here on my chest, we had just gotten home. He'd been in captivity for 3 hours, and we had just gotten home and sat in my recliner chair and threw down some plastic and started to hold him on my glove like I'm doing with Belle here. And so he was sitting in my glove, and then he was comfortable and happy and seemed to be very content just sitting in my glove. And then he stepped off my glove because I'm kind of laying back in the recliner chair, and he stands on my chest, and I'm just kind of looking at him, and he kind of nestles down and lays down on my chest, just as comfortable and as happy as can be. And so he's got an amazingly unique personality, and we've had him now for 6 months, and he really is the sweetest and gentlest prairie falcon that I've ever seen, and so he's become a really dear member of the family, and have enjoyed every second with him.
Well, we're over our time. It's 11:07. Went 7 minutes over, so we might as well wrap up and just everything, all the details, all information. You can go to the Vlogmas URL, and next week we start the dailies.
Yes, next week we're going to do a daily up until Christmas Eve. So please join us, and as I said, come out to the Enoch Wildlife Rescue Saturday for our Christmas open house, and we hope to talk to you folks soon.